A one and a two and a chick-a-boom a chick.
Hey Remodelers, before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our friends at Builder Funnel. I've personally known Spencer and his team for over a decade. We're getting older. And they are the marketing agency that helps remodelers generate more leads, book more projects, and grow revenue. We're talking real results. 4.09 million generated for a remodeler in San Antonio, 4.7 million for a custom builder in Houston, and 13.8 million for a builder in New York. These aren't maybes, these are hard dollar wins. If you're tired of relying on the inconsistency of referrals and want a system that brings in predictable, high quality leads, Builder Funnel can help. Okay, welcome everybody. We just started the recording. If it would have been 3 seconds before, you would have seen me fully prepare by putting on some chapstick. Now, Matt, we'll start with that. I was spending some time with some friends. We were at a conference called Hutchmoot.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My son loves Rabbit Room.
Oh my, we might have to talk about it for any other nerds that are listening to this. But we actually had a house with 10 people in it, a bunch of our friends. We went down there, and one of the gentlemen was putting on his chapstick, and he just dabbed it every half inch or so. And I said, what are you doing? Like, put your chapstick on, you rub it on both sides there. And he's like, no, I really love this chapstick. And if I did that, it would get used up too quickly. So I conserve it. For the people wondering, how do you use, are you a chapstick guy, man?
You know, I'm not, but I imagine that in Michigan, it's pretty important.
It is. And I think it also is one of those things that the more you use it, the more your lips are like, we need it. So
I probably need it. I just haven't thought about it.
But if you don't start,
right,
then you probably will be like, oh, I've never needed this. Oh, so I really want to talk about that Hutchmoot thing, but that would be very, very niche for the Remodelers on the Rise audience. So we might have to do that at the end or after we stop the recording. But welcome, folks. Welcome to the Remodelers on the Rise show. If you're wondering, what is this show about? You never know. Yes, generally speaking, I am a remodeling business coach talking to remodeling company business owners and leaders, and we are talking about how to improve your remodeling business, and also hopefully in the mix of all that, that also filters through to improving your life is the goal there. Some episodes are very much a remodeler just telling their story. Some of them are just me speaking into the microphone and camera, sharing and teaching or coaching on a certain topic. And then other times we have guests, and in particular today's guest, which is a little bit more of a totally different angle of conversation we typically have. His name's Matt Baehr. He's the executive director for Homes for Hope. Yes, Homes for Hope. And I'm going to have you, maybe we'll just even start out, tell the people what Homes for Hope is. And also let me share one other thesis that I would love for, see, you're dressed, for those of you watching the video version, he's got a nice sport coat on because he was at an event this morning. And I'm using big words like thesis. Some of you might be thinking that's not even a big word, Kyle. Well, it is for me. My thesis, my goal, one of the banners that I would love to have across the top of this conversation is, hey, busy remodeler, hey, successful or soon to be successful or whatever you want to say, remodeler. Do you have a vision in your business of generosity? Do you have a vision in your business of how you give back to those around you, to give back to your team, give back to your community, give back to the world? Is that part and an angle of what your vision is for your business? That's something I want people to think about today. And we're going to hear about Homes for Hope and a little bit of Matt and his organization story. Matt, tell us about Homes for Hope, and then also tell us about yourself.
Absolutely. Which do you want me to start with, Homes for Hope or myself?
Yourself.
Okay, great. Well, my name is Matt Baehr. I'm executive director of Homes for Hope. I'm a Jersey boy at heart. That's where I grew up, and I love New Jersey. So anybody that speaks,
I don't hear a lot of New Jersey in your voice.
Oh, really? Well, yeah. I think that's a misconception that people have about New Jersey that are.
Or maybe you could just turn it up. Turn it up.
Well, I do say coffee. That's how I say that
okay.
word. So that might rub some of your listeners the wrong way. But yeah, so I love New Jersey. I love what I do with Hope, and I'm married. I have 4 kids, which I'm very proud of, and yeah. So that's a little bit about me.
What are the ages of the kids?
Yeah, my kids are 19, 17, 15, and 13.
We almost have it identical, other than your youngest are 1 year ahead of our youngest.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Other
they
than
got
that,
progressively
19,
closer, which was a
yeah,
surprise.
19 to 7. See, we have more spread, so we've got the bigs, the 19 to 17-year-old, and then the littles. Got the
Okay.
bigs and the littles.
Got it.
Boy, girl by chance?
Boys are older, girls are younger.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just learning. Sorry, listeners. I'm just learning about this gentleman. Hey, as we say that, I also love takeaways. Matt, you would probably back me up on this. Hey, parents out there, don't blink. Like for real. Like
True.
I'm the old man over here now. And Matt's got a little gray in his beard too, and he's got a college, age kid. Don't blink. It goes faster than you realize. Also, don't just sit there and kick yourself in the butt for, I should have done this. Don't should on yourself. Don't should on yourself. But also let this just be a reminder for me and for Matt and for anybody listening to this. Yes, it goes fast, and just figure out a way to connect with each of your children in a small way today. Think about a small way to connect with them tomorrow. Maybe you also have a bigger idea of something real fun to do with your 17-year-old daughter, because guess what? Your 17-year-old daughter is going to turn 18 and 19, and there's only so much time we have. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel, I wish I would have done this. Just start today and figure out a way to continue to develop that relationship with your kids, continue to parent them well, continue to be a voice of reason and teaching and love to them. End rant. Anything you'd like to add to that, Matt?
No, I know that marriage and family is very important to you and what you do at Remodelers on the Rise. And this industry is hard on marriages and families. Really entrepreneurship in general, I think, is hard on marriage and families. And so, yeah, I echo what you said about finding common interests with your kids. They might not be interested in the same things you are. And a lot of this is where Hutchmoot came from, right? Rabbit Room. My oldest son loves to read fantasy novels, etc. And so when I go on trips, I read novels with him and we talk about them. And yeah. So whether it's music or sports or reading or whatever it is that your kids are into, yeah, I think it's important to listen to them, find out what's important to them, and lean in a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah. So that was a little bit about Matt, plus a little parenting advice snuck in there. Tell us about Homes for Hope. What is this all about?
Yeah, so we invest in entrepreneurs who are living in poverty around the world so that they can start businesses or grow a business and break the bonds of generational poverty. And so I think telling maybe our organization's founding story will help share a little bit about how we ended up doing this and how the building industry connects to it.
Love it.
So our founder is a builder, a new home builder in Pennsylvania. His name is Jeff Rutt of Keystone Custom Homes. And they build in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Charlottesville, and Charlotte, North Carolina, and South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, that area. So, yeah, they're a really successful home builder. But in the mid-90s, he and his church were sending containers of aid to Ukraine in the wake of the fall of the Berlin Wall and the rampant poverty that was being experienced in that region at that time. And the local pastor of the church that they were sending aid to came to Jeff and said, "Your helping is actually hurting us because the local businesses here can't compete with free. Is there a way that you can help us help ourselves?" So he was way ahead of his time with that thinking. So Jeff is an entrepreneur and a businessman. He noticed that there were fields of sunflowers surrounding this community. Ukraine is a beautiful country. So he wrote up a business plan and purchased a sunflower processing machine so that they could make sunflower oil to sell, and delivered the machine and the business plan to the church, and went back and visited the next year and noticed that it was just sitting in the same corner where he had dropped it off, gathering dust. And he realized that he had moved from exporting goods to exporting his ideas, and that wasn't going to work either. Mm-hmm. And it was around that. What's that?
0 for 2.
Yeah, I know. I think this is what happens when people want to engage with charity, right? We want to do everything we can to help people, and I think it's helpful for us to be humbled sometimes as we, in our efforts to help. And so then he heard about this concept of microfinance, where you take a small amount of money and invest that in a business, and the people that receive the loan will join a solidarity group and cross guarantee each other's loans. And then over time, they pay that the loan back, and they're able to take more loans, etc. So he did what he knew how to do. He built a home. He partnered with his trades and suppliers to get donated and discounted services on the bill, which increased the profit margin on the sale of the home. So whether it's people discounting their POs or just donating labor, something like that. And then he took the profit from the sale of the home and sent 12 loans of about $500 each to the same church, and they got invested in some businesses.
Almost just starting out with just like, okay, we're going to do this microfinance thing. Let's do this on one project here. Let's kind of share with some of our trade partners, our vendors, and what was it? $500 and 12 loans?
Yep.
So $6,000. We got $6,000 that we're putting out there.
Yep. So a couple months went by, and Jeff got a call from the guy who was kind of managing the repayment of the loans. And he said, Jeff, I have good news and bad news. The good news is it's working. People are repaying their loans. They're receiving biblically based business training. They're growing their businesses, etc. The bad news is somebody got on local radio and told everybody about it. So we're going to need a lot more capital. And that's how Hope International got started in the late 90s, 1997. And so Jeff started calling his friends in the building industry, asking them to do the same thing he did. And up until about 2005 or so, the vast majority of Hope's funding, over 90%, came through the building industry. And then our COO at the time said, maybe we should diversify our income streams a little bit here, and started hiring more traditional fundraisers, et cetera. And so Homes for Hope became its own entity to continue working with the building industry to raise funds. And I think that decision is what saved our organization through the 08-09 downturn.
Yeah.
And so we've grown from there, and today we're in over 30 countries around the world. And this is the thing that really strikes me about the work is over the course of our existence, over the past 28 years, we've raised around $350 million or so, which is an incredible number. Praise the Lord. But that's turned into nearly $1.9 billion in loans. And it's crazy, right? So 5.5 times what we received in donations has been able to be sent out in loans. And we average 90% operational self-sufficiency. So in the countries that we work, 90% of their operational costs are covered by repaid loans. So this is why that's exciting, because not only are the people that we're serving, growing businesses, being served holistically. We're not just sending people. You can't just throw money at something as complicated as poverty and expect to make a lasting difference, right? So they're growing spiritually, socially, personally, as well as materially. And as they're repaying their loans, they're not just passive recipients with their hands out, right? But they're coming alongside us and our donors to actively contribute to the work and help us grow and serve even more people. So that's what I love about what we get to do.
So the Hope International parent company, Homes for Hope, a kind of division. What would we say?
Sure. Yeah.
A division of Hope International, and Hope International is all. I'm just kind of just sharing what I just heard. In 30 countries, it's still based on this microfinancing principle of helping entrepreneurs have money, have training on the business side, and have some what we typically call here in the States, like some skin in the game. Like, hey, we need to charge our prospective clients here on this remodeling project, some design and development dollars, so they have some skin in the game. Because when they write a little check to us, it makes them a much more serious person. Similar vein of thought here of, by really giving them not a handout, but an opportunity that allows them to, okay, I can invest this in product, in staff, in whatnot, and then I assume just some reasonable terms of paying it back.
Yes.
They really start to understand the full picture of the business, and obviously, you guys also have kind of a faith component to this and a business training component to this. That's kind of this, and the Homes for Hope part is really your focus on the fundraising side when it comes to the building industry.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love about interacting with the building industry is that they get what we're doing. They can relate to the people that we serve because they're all entrepreneurs too. They've had to work hard to build their businesses. They had somebody invest in them to help them get started. Everybody has a story like that, right? And so to be able to do that for people who are living in poverty around the world is incredible. There was a guy named Robert Lupton who wrote a book called Toxic Charity. And in there he talks about the 5 levels of toxic charity, where you give somebody a gift and there's an appreciation for the gift. So you give them a second gift, there's an anticipation. Third gift, there's an expectation. Fourth gift, entitlement. And by the time you've given the 5th gift, you've created full-blown dependency. And we've all done this. We've all been involved in this. And there is a time where giving handouts or aid is appropriate. But it's meant, and I've been involved with organizations like that. But it's meant to be temporary. If we want to see lasting change, we eventually have to move past handouts and move toward development.
Interesting. I was just I've got a cool hat on, Homes for Hope hat. I had this hat on a minute ago. It's called the Ivy Table. It's a organization that I serve on a board of directors on, and we had a guest in from another nonprofit last night, and she was talking to us about what one of the things that they provide is some temporary housing for people that are kind of in between. Some of them coming out of prison and trying to get on their feet. Some of them who have lost their home and they're trying to get going. And similar to what you were describing there, I think I caught it: appreciation, and then that turns into anticipation, and then expectation, and then entitlement, and then dependency. One of the things they learned as they were creating housing for these folks is this is a temporary thing. This is not a permanent thing. Yes. And at first they started it with good intention, but all of a sudden people didn't want to ever leave. And now they adjusted it to say, look, this is a 9-month program. Some of you will be here 6 months and you get on your feet. Some of you might take the whole 9 months, but here's kind of the plan for it. And I think that sounds like a similar vein of, yes, you just sometimes just need the gift to get going, but we're also building towards something more sustainable. Right. And something that gives them, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out, man.
Dignity.
Thank you. That's exactly the word. Yeah. Some dignity of going, okay, this is, yes, I'm being served here. Yes, I'm being helped here, but I'm also building something that I can be proud of, that I can have some dignity in. What a beautiful thing.
And we talk a lot about generational poverty too, right? So when you think about people that are just receiving handouts perpetually, what do their kids learn? They learn this is how you get by. You're dependent on others, versus when you see the interdependence of people being invested. Their parents are getting invested. They're growing their businesses. They're paying their loans back. They're hiring others. As children, they can see that and they can gain that work ethic themselves and break that cycle of generational poverty.
Very cool. Very cool. So give an example. So on the Homes for Hope side, maybe give a little bit more particular on how the Homes for Hope side works, and maybe even give an example of, let's say hypothetically, you are a builder, you are building, 7 custom homes this year type thing. Talk about the Homes for Hope side and kind of how you guys approach that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been really encouraged by the building industry. It's the most generous industry I've encountered in my entire life.
Best looking group of people too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been in the nonprofit space for over 20 years, and I came into this role in 2019. And the thing I love about it is you don't have to convince anybody to be involved philanthropically because they're all doing something already, And so I just have the privilege of being able to tell people what we do and let them know, because I don't have to convince them to be generous. They already are. So yeah, practically speaking, and I can talk about builders, but for the sake of your audience, I'm happy to talk about remodelers.
Sure,
as well.
Please.
But yeah, typically what would happen is a builder or a remodeler would identify an upcoming project as their Homes for Hope project. And depending on the size of the builder, so I'll use your example. You said a custom home builder is building maybe 7 homes per year or so. So in that case, it's kind of a high barrier of entry to build one home and donate the entire profit from the sale of that home, even if it's bolstered by your trades, right? Because that's 1/7 of your revenue for the year versus like 1/100th of your revenue for a larger builder who's building a different type of product. So in that situation, sometimes we've had people say we're going to identify a certain amount. We're going to set a goal. We're going to raise $100,000 through this project, and our trades and suppliers will help us get there, and then we'll use the rest to run our company. Or they could say a percentage of the profit we're going to donate. Some people will choose to do a set amount per year, or donate per project. And so that there's all sorts of, we love to be creative. So whatever makes sense for the builder or the remodeler that's in your audience, we want to do something that makes sense for them and their business. And we try to have it disrupt your normal processes as little as possible. So typically what will happen is at the launch of your project, we'll hold an event where you would invite your team or your trades and suppliers to this event. We cast vision for the work of Hope and what we're doing, and then people can sign on to donate a discount, like I said, and then go through your normal process of building, marketing, completing the project, selling the home, etc. And then we have a celebration at the event to announce at the end the donation that was generated and how it will serve people around the world.
And then, so let's say we did this nice project, and we had a goal of raising $30,000 through it. Part of that came from my company as the remodeler that put some dollars towards it. Our painter gave $1,000 towards it, and this trade and that supplier donated this, which helped increase profits. That $30,000 would then go to Homes for Hope, and then that would be distributed through Hope International to all of these entrepreneurs in the form of microloans.
That's correct. Yeah. And because of the way Hope operates, as people are repaying loans, it only costs us about $25 to serve one family for a year as an organization. So, if a home, okay, I'm not good at math. So you just said $30,000. I said
$30,000.
So divide that by 25.
I'm all over it.
Okay.
That is 1,200.
Yeah, so 1,200 families were able to serve off of that one project, and that's in perpetuity. Like I said, they pay loans back, it continues to grow, and we've served around 3.5 million people over the course of our existence as an organization, which sounds a little low, for somebody in the nonprofit world. However, a lot of those people that we're serving are, have received multiple loans over multiple years. So, for instance, there's this gentleman in Rwanda whose name is Faustin, and 13 years ago, he got a $50 loan to start a welding business. Right? He was kind of a day laborer. He was trying to find a way to provide for his family living in a mud home with no electricity. And so we got joined a group, got a loan for $50, paid that back, opened and received another loan to open up a hardware store. He paid that loan back. And over the course of 12 loans, fast forward to today, he's now a home builder. He builds beautiful homes that he rents out and also sells. But the cool thing is he finds out about people that are experiencing homelessness in his church. And so then he builds shelters for them and helps meet their needs that way. So, you and I could travel over to Rwanda and, kind of build a shelter for somebody that we found out about. But what's cool about this is that Faustin knows these people. He's in their community. He can care for them long term alongside his church, and he knows the needs of his community better than we do. One of my favorite stories to tell is a woman who wanted to take a $20 loan to get 20 plastic chairs. So, those like plastic white lawn chairs, right? So if I were the one that was making determinations on these loans, I probably wouldn't give that loan because it doesn't seem like a good business idea, right? $20 for 20 chairs. But her loan officers from the country that this woman is from knew her culture. And the reason why she wanted this loan is because in that culture, weddings would last for a week at a time and people need to sit down. And so she started this wedding business, renting out these chairs, paid the loan back. And again, fast forward to today, she now has 200 chairs, 200 place settings, a bunch of centerpieces, and then 3 wedding dresses, a small, a medium, and a large, that she rents out for these weddings. And she has this thriving business. She was able to put her children through school, and she's just thriving. So, yeah, those are just some examples of.
I mean, I love everything about that story, but I also love her sizing up the bride and going small, medium, large. I got 3 sizes for you. Let's make this simple.
That's right.
They pay it back over the course of even years type thing.
No, so usually it depends on what type of loan it is. If it's an agriculture loan, those are usually over the course of 4 months, because if you think about a growing season, those last about 4 months. Other loan terms are about 6 months or a year.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they vary depending on what type of loan it is.
And Hope has the connections and the people in all of these different countries where, like the welder, the gentleman, he must have heard about it from somebody and said, hey, like, you can get a loan to buy that equipment and to do the following to help you get started with that. And there's people just locally that's serving that, maybe countrywide. And then probably just the overall headquarters that helps facilitate all that. And by the way, 3.5 million people is a lot of people. So none of that. Well, in the nonprofit world, no. That's an amazing number.
And that's really, that number doesn't tell the whole story, because if you think about, that's 3.5 million people who have received loans through Hope, but they're a part of families, right? And the average family size is about 5 people around the world. And then you think about all the people that they're impacting in terms of providing jobs for others in the community. So yeah, really the impact is incalculable in a lot of ways.
Wow.
But yeah, in the countries that we serve, we have real brick and mortar microfinance institutions, and we have loan officers that, and yeah, man, I have so much to tell you, Kyle. So the loan officers, we like to say, have the head of a banker, the heart of a pastor, and the soul of a missionary. And if you travel to visit the work with us in the Dominican Republic, we were walking through this village a couple years ago, and this business owner, who we weren't there to see, sees her loan officer walking through the street and runs out and greets her and hugs her and invites us all into the. That's not the kind of relationship I have with my loan officer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then at this other point, this guy saw his loan officer in the street. We're on a busy street in Santo Domingo. He sees his loan officer in the street, pulls up at his moped, and brings us all down to his house to show us this hand-dug 8-foot deep cistern that he had put it into his house so his house could have running water. It's fed by a local lake. And he funded that project through the business that he started with Hope. So I love these unplanned encounters, because, when we in the nonprofit world, when we bring you on a trip, we want to show you our best, and we kind of handpick things. So I love the things that aren't planned, that show the effect.
Right. And that shows that it's like you just mentioned, like, yes, loan officer, yes, pastoral, yes, missionary type feeling to it. So it's interesting. Part of the reason I was excited about this interview is because I kind of understood the basics of what you guys did, but not in great depth. And so, the home building and the building industry and the remodeling industry part, is really part of the whole picture because of the gentleman and the company that started the organization overall. But for entrepreneurs listening to this, I think and I think I mentioned this to you before, the micro loan, the microfinancing thing, I've heard, and maybe when I heard about it over the years, maybe it was through even Hope International, but just the concept of it and the format of it and the approach of it, from the dignity standpoint to the micro aspect of it to the way that it can spider into the smallest communities in areas around the world, is just a really, really cool approach, like from an entrepreneur standpoint. And then when you layer on top of that a faith component, when you layer on top of that an effort to move people out of poverty to being self-sustaining, you look at the picture of that, and the whole thing is beautiful.
Thank you, Kyle. And one of the aspects about it that I love too is when you talk to the people that we serve, and they talk about the dreams that they have for their family, so often it involves housing, whether it's improving their current living situation or building a home on that land that they own over there. It's moving from a dirt floor to a concrete floor, a corrugated metal sided home to a concrete block sided home, or adding a level to their home so they can rent it out, get passive income. So many of their dreams involve home building. So that's just the connections are so easy. And there's three main ways that we serve people. So we serve people through savings groups, which are run through local churches. And that's where groups will come together and decide as a group, we're going to save 25 cents or 50 cents a week or whatever they decide. And then they'll take turns drawing on the collective funds to start a business, or they'll go into business together, et cetera. So that's for people that are living in really rural areas, abject poverty, don't have access to any traditional financing in any way. And those are run through local churches. And so our average loan size in there for savings groups is in the tens of dollars. And then for microfinance institutions, like I told you before, real brick and mortar banks with loan officers, et cetera. And again, the model is the same, where they cross guarantee each other's loans. And we have a 98% loan repayment rate over the last 5 years. And the loans in that realm average in the hundreds of dollars. And then we have small to medium enterprise loans, which is kind of the missing middle between, these smaller entrepreneurs who aren't quite ready for traditional banking, and businesses that are ready to scale, and maybe hire other employees, take on other employees, open up a second location, et cetera. And so those loans average in the thousands of dollars. So those are the three products that we offer.
Just a quick break here to spotlight our friends at Builder Funnel, the agency that's proven over and over they know how to generate serious revenue for remodelers. And when I say revenue, I mean real numbers you can measure. $6.3 million for a remodeler in Atlanta, $1.2 million for a remodeler in Salt Lake City, even $746,000 for a deck builder in Jacksonville. And that's just a handful. The truth is, most marketing agencies talk about impressions and clicks. Builder Funnel talks about projects sold and revenue added. They've built a system that takes the guesswork out of marketing so you know your investment is working. If you're serious about growth and want your marketing to finally perform at the level your craftsmanship does, Builder Funnel is the partner you want. So if you're ready for a marketing system that actually helps grow your business, head over to builderfunnel.com/ROTR to learn more. Builderfunnel.com/ROTR. I think sometimes, so back to my little thesis, or my goal for part of the podcast was also for just imagining business owners who are listening to this and wanting to push all of us collectively to saying, a chunk of my focus, a chunk of the vision of where I'm trying to take my business, a part of who we are, and maybe even a core value of what we want to do is we want to be a business that is generous. And certainly that can look in a lot of different ways. There's beautiful things with, local Habitat for Humanity and getting your team to go on that. Jason Carmack with Vision Construction, every year he pays his team. It's a paid week. I'm pretty sure his crew would do it even if it wasn't, but they do a missions trip down south every year to do hurricane. There's a lot of different ways that this can look, but I guess what we're presenting here is another opportunity to look into Homes for Hope and go, super interesting that this came from within the building and remodeling industry. Super interesting how, for every $100 that we would put towards this, it multiplies into something bigger and bigger over the years as the dollars get paid back and a new loan can be made and a new loan can be made. And it's also nice to be able, I think sometimes we could be like, all right, let's give $500 to fill in the blank. And it just kind of goes into a coffer and you're not really sure where it's going. There's just story after story that can come from something like this, which is super interesting.
Yeah. And we always tell people we don't ever want to replace anything that you're already doing, right? Keep doing what you're doing. And if you want to make an impact in global poverty, Homes for Hope is a great opportunity to do so. But I think the other element that you're touching on here is, I pulled up some quotes from a supplier who's a furniture supplier, and then also a plumber who served one of our builders. So the furniture supplier said, we've been able to help out in our local community in a lot of different charitable endeavors. And again, this speaks to the industry and its generosity that I was talking about before. but we have a tough time helping out from a global perspective. So for us to have a small role in being able to be a part of something bigger, we feel very honored and privileged to participate. And then this is the plumber. He says, we want to make a positive impact in construction. We want to change how people think about the skilled trades in the industry. And this is a really great, tangible way to be able to do that. There's so much going on in the world that doesn't feel like we can do much about. But we install plumbing, HVAC, and electrical work, and we do it really well. This is a way we can do that and help some people around the world.
Very practical. Very practical. On a similar vein, if I just because I got this other hat here, that's Ivy Table.
Yeah.
What two friends of ours started was a kind of a pay what you can cafe is kind of the setup of it. And so there's people coming to this cafe that are just very much just two buddies who don't need a free meal, that are just coming to support it and pay a regular, for breakfast and add a little bit on top. There's people that come in and say, I would appreciate a blessing today, and they eat for free. So locally, it's an amazing thing. In addition, one of the founders, Jessica, spent a year in Thailand. Her husband is with Ford Motor Company, and he had a 1-year assignment in Thailand. And Jessica, being Jessica, found her way into some local churches, some local nonprofits, and really connected and became very close friends with a group there. And we were talking at our strategic planning last night of going, the free meals locally that we're giving are amazing. We've got 5 refrigerators around the county where people just can come and grab prepackaged meals. And there was 1,200 meals that got passed out in the month of September. That's awesome. And that's going to continue to grow. But the amount of impact a dollar makes when you take it to a struggling country around the world versus a dollar here in the United States is just different. And to realize that, $1,000, even when we're throwing out numbers like 30,000 or 10,000 or 5,000, the impact that those dollars can have to fight poverty, to encourage people, to nourish people, to help them learn a skilled trade. It's a good thing to think about. And it's nice that you guys have done all the work of already organizing everything over the last 20 some odd years to almost 30 years to make it so that, okay, money goes in here and it goes out into all these different areas. Very cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
The story you told me reminded me of this church that I was serving as part of for a little bit in Denver, Colorado, called Scum of the Earth Church. And
Great name. It
was great. And they had a really great homeless ministry there, where they had a bike shop. And so homeless people were employed in the bike shop, where they were learning the trade of how to fix bikes, etc. Or they could come and use one of the bikes to get to work, and so it was just this really practical way to meet needs in this community. And I love that kind of stuff. I love looking around, seeing what needs exist, and taking action.
Yeah. Another idea around this vein is, as a business owner, as business owners listening to this, not to toot the Remodelers on the rice horn, but I share it as an example I'll toot it a little bit. There's a product that we offer called Remodelers Autopilot, and when we started offering that, there was a certain percent that we've set aside every month to go towards kind of something philanthropy or something donation or something like that. And Bailey in particular, over the years, she would say that, that's one of her favorite employee benefits, if you will. And she's in a new city in Chicago, and she has a precious heart, and she's making sandwiches for a couple homeless people that are outside, her apartment building, and is getting to know those folks. And she said the other day, could we use the autopilot money next month? She wanted to buy hand warmers. She wanted to buy some blankets. She wanted, coldness is coming. Yeah. There's just so many ways, if we are paying attention, that we could be very purposeful in our businesses. The example I just gave you, shock your team next month and say, hey, something new we're doing is every month we have $300. And if there's a cause that you support, if there's a cause that you want to put that towards, don't be shy. We're gonna donate it somewhere, but maybe there's a cause or a person or a situation, come and let's give that to somebody every month. That in and of itself can be a small thing that really sets the intention of, this is what we're about at this business. We want to be a people that are generous. We are not only about the bottom line and the bottom dollar. figure out how to weave that in small and big ways into your business. It can be a beautiful way to share in the success of your business and the people that you serve and whatnot. Oh, I wonder if there's ideas that are just percolating in people's minds right now, man.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. And I want to acknowledge something too. Especially this time of year, there's just an onslaught of asks going around. I can't even check out at a store without being asked to donate to some worthy cause. I got a haircut at Sports Clips, this week in anticipation of coming on the podcast. And I was checking out, and they turned it around, and there was a great cause that they wanted me to support. And I think it can become overwhelming, all of the options that we're faced with. So I think it's okay to choose. I want to encourage people with that. Like, you don't have to choose Homes for Hope. Choose something that you're passionate about, and then lean in. Get really involved, and I think you'll be blessed for it, and it'll make some of those giving decisions easier.
I love that. Now, let's say, watch this transition. Let's say they are intrigued by this Homes for Hope thing, and they're like, I might want to choose that organization. Where would people go? Who would people reach out to? Like, for example, I got we connected because AJ Ballantyne, who's a wonderful remodeler in the DC area, and I've gotten to know him through our Remodelers community, and we've done some webinars and podcasts together. I think he originally connected us, and then we connected, and I think it was you and I and Kent who connected, and then all of a sudden Kent came to the Remodelers our Rise conference a few months ago, and not only that, but I got this hat, and then I got this, and then he sent me a bunch of classic Detroit Tigers baseball cards. Because I don't even remember half the time what I say on calls, but I think I might have mentioned my first business was buying and selling baseball cards online and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, he just delighted me by sending these beautiful Detroit Tiger, Denny McClain, Bill Freehan. I went to a Bill Freehan University of Michigan baseball camp when I was a kid. Wow. Bill Freehan was a U of M grad. So Kent is the Western U.S. representative. I wonder if we reach out to representatives, if we go to homesforhope.org, what are we supposed to do, Matt?
Yeah. So if you go to homes-for hope.org/welcome.
Oh,
that will get you to.
We'll put it in the show notes as well.
Yeah, that'll get you to a page where you can set up a meeting with me or Kent or our Eastern U.S. representative. There's some more information about our organization there, a video from our founder, an opportunity to sign up for our newsletter. We don't try and sell you anything. We send it once a month. We're not going to sell your information to anybody else either. But it's just a way to stay up to date on what's going on around the world through Hope and how the building industry is coming alongside us. And then there's a link there to donate as well. But really, we'd love to have a conversation with you to figure out how your business could best get involved with Homes for Hope, because again, we want to cater it to you and what makes the most sense for you.
Love it. Homes-for-hope.org/welcome. I went into it and said, and there's a book a meeting with Matt Baehr or Hope or Kent Rice. People are going to click on that and be like, I want to talk to that Kent guy. He looks cool.
He does look cool.
Sorry, he
moonlights as Santa Claus, by the way.
I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'm just saying. People will be like, I want to talk to that guy.
Yeah. He has an agent, a Santa agent that gets him gigs. For those of you who know that Santa isn't real, sorry to reveal that on this podcast. Cover your children's ears.
Oh man, we try to be so uplifting on this podcast, and then now you're just slashing. Speaking of hope, you're like the anti-hope of, saying, oh, now everybody's Christmas just got ruined. There's no magic around Christmas.
Although he did send you baseball cards, which delighted you. So
he does have a Santa element. Okay, so all right, we'll go with that. Let's talk about some more of these. Denny McClain, 1968, top pitcher. He won Mickey Lolich. I mean, there's some good ones in here. Matt Noakes. Oh, lovely. That was wonderful, Matt. If you were to say, oh, I also wanted to mention this, or oh, I also wanted to kind of emphasize that, how would you like to kind of wrap this up for us?
Check out Kyle Hunt and all the Remodelers on the Rise content. It's incredible.
Oh, well, that was fair. That was very nice. But I'm not going to let you off that easy. If you were to give one more encouragement to the people listening to this, to lean into that generosity, what else would you say there?
Yeah, I think I would just say thank you for what you're likely already doing. And like I said before, lean in, find something to commit to, make a decision, and really bless and a charitable organization or a cause that you care about. And
I love that.
If you don't have one, we'd be happy to talk.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks so much, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle.